streaming live. Welcome to this week's Teaching Raid live stream coming to you from Sarlona. This week we're going to be doing Temple of the Deathwyrm and Fire on Thunder Peak. If you haven't seen any of our Teaching Raid videos or live streams before, these are events that we do for people who are new to raids, and we teach them how these raids work. And so sometimes we get people who are new to the game and just entering the raid scene. Sometimes we get longtime veterans that just have been avoiding raids for whatever reason. In fact, I know we have a couple of longtime veterans that are going to join us tonight that are pretty new to raiding but have been playing DDO for a long time. Lots of reasons why people avoid raids. Sometimes it's because they're intimidated by them. Sometimes it's because they had bad experiences with raids. I know I had some really off-putting experiences when I first started raiding years ago. It almost made me leave the game. But luckily I met some good folks shortly thereafter. Sometimes people avoid raids because they feel like their gear or their builds aren't good enough. And we're trying to encourage those people to get involved. And so I just got 3 people signed up. 3 folks that will be learning the event, and then everybody else that's here are my guildies that are here to help out. One second here. So I'm going to take a few minutes to get the folks that are signed up for the event I'm going to take a few minutes to get them in here, and also want to say that we're not trying to make these folks experts at these raids. We're just trying to give them a basic level of competency so that they understand how the raid works, so they hopefully will feel comfortable going into a pug and having an idea of how the raid is supposed to work. So I'm going to do that now, and if you're watching the live stream, you got probably a good 5 minutes before any action gets started. So if you want to go grab a drink, now's a good time. Hey Lionfear, welcome. Hey Chakma, welcome. Welcome Lacertus.
Thank you.
So we have 3 people here that are signed up to learn the raids, and then the others are my guildies that are here to help out. Everybody here has attended a teaching raid before, so you all know the deal. I do want to emphasize that if you have any questions at any point during either of the raids, we're doing 2 raids tonight, just feel free to interrupt me or ask at any point. At any time if you're lost, you're confused, you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing, you want more explanation about any part of the raid, I'm happy to answer those questions at any point. We're going to be doing Temple of the Deathwyrm first, and we're just going to do it on Legendary Hard, or Epic Hard, excuse me. This is Epic Raid, not a Legendary Raid, just to keep the stress level a little bit lower. I know this group can handle Epic Elite, but I really wanted to just focus on learning the raid and not being stressed out. So if you need to pause your bravery bonus, please go ahead and take a minute to do that. Hey Bella Song, welcome to the live stream. Also want to remind everyone that we are live streaming this event. So there are going to be people watching from other servers that are learning along with us and asking questions in the live chat. And there's only 7 people watching now, and there probably won't be more than about 25 or 30 watching at any given time. And you can, if for those of you who are here learning the raids at a later point. If you forget something about what you learned, you can always go back on my YouTube channel and watch the live stream of the event and see how you did. Alright, so hopefully everybody's flagged, and you're going to want to talk to Ingrith here and tell her that you want to go to Oglaros's lair. I think I forgot to pick up the raids. Yeah, in last week's live stream we did RSO teaching raid. I'm the kind of a raid leader that will remind other people to do something 15 times and then forget to do it myself. Like pick up energy sheath for riding the storm out. Or pick up the raid. Alright, I am in on hard. Everybody in. Cool, all the new folks are in. That means everybody got flagged successfully. That's great. So this first raid. Oh, I also, I want to ask, Lion Fear, Chalkmouth, Lacertus, have you guys ever done these raids before? Because sometimes we get people that are totally new to the raids. Sometimes we get folks that maybe have done it a few times but are still learning it. And I also want to know the folks.
I did it when it first came out, but I don't remember any of it.
Okay, cool. Anybody, whoever's watching the live stream now, I want to know, like, what server you're from, if you've done this before, or if you're learning it, watching this for the first time.
First time for either.
Okay, cool. Well, I want to say that this is a pretty big and intricate raid, and so this is something that can seem really confusing to people who are new to it, and can seem a little intimidating. So we're just going to go slowly over each part, as we're doing it. This is an explain as you go kind of a raid. The next one will be an explain everything ahead of time kind of a raid, but this is an explain as you go kind of a raid. So I'll be explaining each part as we get to it. Now this portal that you see in front of us will disappear once we get to the end fight. There's like a shrine room right before the end fight, and once you get to that shrine room and move, that's when this portal will disappear. So up to that point, people can come in late and de-door and stuff, but once you get to the shrine room, which is right before the end fight, you don't ever want to de-door at that point, and people coming in late won't be able to enter. They'd be able to literally enter the raid and get to right here, but they wouldn't be able to advance beyond that, because like I said, that portal will disappear. Let's go ahead and get our buffs. Hi Costa, so welcome to the live stream. From Thelanis, very cool. Okay, you've done the raid, but you just follow others and don't feel like you know it very well. Okay, that's cool. Well, hopefully you'll pick up some helpful things here. I'm glad that you're able to tune in for this. Alright, everybody through the portal. When you first come in, I want you to look up. And, oh, actually, Oglaros is not there. It should be on the other side. But look around and you'll see there's like a bunch of mirrors that you can move. Mirror puzzles are Oh, Aglarasa is there. Okay, so look up and you'll see the Shadow Dragolich there, Aglarasa. And she's shooting her negative energy breath down at us. If you get her aggro, if she's shooting at you, the best thing to do is just to go right under here, where this big gate is, where Booter and Mona are. And she can't hit you here. Her breath weapon isn't that powerful, so it's not really a big deal. But if it is, a problem for you, like I said, just park yourself underneath her, and that's really the best thing that you can do for the raid. And that way, it keeps her from hitting others. So there are 6 mirror puzzles in this raid that have to be done to advance each part. And just like all mirror puzzles in the game, there's like a little laser gun thing that starts it. But I want to make sure that all the new folks see this. So if you're new, I want you to go to the southeast corner of the zone. Excuse me, southwest, which is where I am. Don't go into the light beam. I should have said that first, but the light beam will kill you. If you were in my guild and it was your first time, I would tell you that the light beam gave you a weapon buff and that you want to stand in it. But that's just because I like to troll my guildies. We don't do that to the folks that are learning the raid in our teaching raids. But here's the beginning of the laser beam. And you got to use the mirrors to guide the light. If you've never died in a laser beam, I encourage you to step in it. Seriously, we'll raise you. It's no big deal. If you've never experienced that, because in our teaching raids, and you guys have all attended them before, we like to show you what happens when things go wrong. So these are times to experiment. Also, when we do these as guild runs, we're constantly trying to kill each other with the light beam. So, for example, waiting for a guildie to cross the path and then activating the light as soon as they do. But we won't be doing that to anybody here. The solution to these mirror puzzles is the same every time. It's not randomized. It's exactly the same every time you run this raid. And now we want to go to the northeast corner, and you'll see there's a portal up now because the light has been guided to this end crystal here, this relay crystal. So everybody go ahead and go through this portal. And now we're on the shadow side. We're going to be constantly moving between the light side and the shadow side throughout this raid. You can look up again and see Aglarasa's up there again. And there's another mirror puzzle that needs to be done. My guildies are going to go ahead and take care of that. There is trash that's moving around the zone, so a lot of people pike this part, but it's really helpful if... nice job, Mickey.
I just killed myself in the mirror because I was too close to it. So even though I wasn't, like, on the end of it, I just zapped myself.
Dude, I've done that many times. So I'm glad you did. Hold on, don't kill this keeper here, because I want to demonstrate. That was perfect timing. So everybody who's new, I want you to notice that there's this keeper of Mickey D's here. See this wraith? So anytime somebody dies, at least in parts of this raid, like a keeper of them will spawn. And in order to raise them, you have to kill the wraith, and then they'll be, so it's like a unique death mechanic to the raid. You kill the wraith and then you can raise them. But there is a workaround that's been here ever since the raid came out, and everybody does it. And everybody's pretty much expected to do it, so don't expect people to kill your keeper. Instead, what you want to do is, if you die, you just want to run away from your soul stone twice. You run so far that you bounce back, and then you do that again. And if you do that twice, you can be raised. So, like I said, don't ever expect people to kill your keeper. Just run away from your soul stone twice. That's standard operating procedure in this raid. So I was saying, a lot of people will just pike here, but it's really helpful if you can help kill the trash. If the people doing the puzzle are being bombarded by trash, that can make it difficult to manipulate the mirrors and stuff. So it's really helpful if you can move around and help keep the trash down.
Okay, now look where I'm standing, Ginger.
Oh, I almost walked
And
right
let
into
me
it,
know
dude.
that is definitely too close.
Yeah, dude, I've been there. I have been exactly there, man.
I think it's funny because the whole time he's been trying to hit me.
No, I haven't. I'll try harder, though.
You can go back through, by the way.
My bad, bro.
If you needed to go back, I want all the new folks to go up to the north east corner where we came through, which is where I am right now. Let's see, there's Lacertus, and there's Chukma, and there's Lion Fear. Just go ahead and go through the puzzle. I just want to show you that you can go back. If somebody dies, you need to go back for them. We just come right back here. And remember, you can always detour up until you get to that shrine room before the end fight. You just turn right back around and go through again. Mickey, why do you still have a death timer? I wonder if they fixed it.
Oh, there it goes. I had to bounce again.
Okay.
I don't know.
That would have been crazy.
These mirror puzzles still suffered from the whole, sometimes the beam doesn't carry on.
Yeah, it's a good point. So sometimes, if you don't have a lot of experience with mirror puzzles, you may not know that sometimes when you go to reflect the beam, it just does not reflect off the next mirror. And so what you need to do is just, turn the mirror all the way around, or, turn the starting laser all the way around, so it just starts it over kind of thing. It's just like a known bug that happens from time to time. There's not really any good workaround other than just to flip the mirror or the starting laser around. And then it should reflect after that. Sometimes you might even have to do that twice. Got 16 people watching us right now. Welcome if you're just tuning in to this live stream. We're doing Temple of the Deathwyrm teaching raid this week, and then we're going to be doing Fire on Thunder Peak, the other raid out in Thunderhome after this one.
I had never previously experienced that, dying that far away from the mirror and rotating it. So, 10 points for whoever.
Nice. Good job. Whenever there's a quest or a raid in the High Lords where there's a way to kill each other, like the bombs and blown to bits, it's really amazing that we ever get anything done, that we ever even complete a raid like this, because we're just so busy trying to kill each other. So don't mind my guildies. Oh, Lacertus is dead. Run away from your soul stone twice, Lacertus, and then we'll shoot you a raise. I hope nobody here tried to kill Lacertus on purpose. Oh, it looks like, yeah, you got caught by the beam. Alright, so now we're going to go through the portal in the center here, which take us to the next part, which is the first of 2 puzzle selection chambers. So there's like 6 different puzzles aside from the mirror puzzles, and there's at 2 different points in this raid. There's like a puzzle selection chamber where you have a choice of 3 possible different puzzles, and so you can see there's the one portal here on the east wall, which is where we came from, and then there's 2 more puzzles, and you can see there's one that's like locked out where I'm jumping in front of right now. Every instance there'll be a random one of these that's locked out, so you'll really just have a choice of 2. But there are a total of 3 possible ones, just one's going to be locked out. And the locations of the puzzles are the same every time. You say, Lion Fear, you say you're not sure what you're supposed to do here? What were you referring to?
happens over out in the mirror room still.
Oh. So the locations of the puzzles are the same every time. This south portal is always going to be the jump room. And this west puzzle is always going to be something. Is this the portal maze? It's been so long, I forget. Yes, okay, thank you. Is always going to be the portal maze. And then the north portal is always going to be the trap room. And we always like to do the trap room if that's an option in the High Lords when we run our guild raids. But, you know, some people might like to do the other ones. The portal maze can be a little bit confusing. I'm not going to be able to show you that. But I do have a video that shows how it works. But some people get a little bit confused by it. But it's actually very simple. It's just a series of left and right choices. But it can be a little bit confusing to first timers because the choices are relative to like these runes that are in each of the little rooms, and there's like portals that you have to find your way through this little simple maze. In any event, we're not going to be able to show that to you, so if you want to see how to do the portal maze, I would encourage you just to go on my YouTube channel and search that out. I'm going to put a link in the video description for this live stream as well. But I want you to, we're going to do the trap room, but I want you to step into the south portal so you can see that. This is the jump room. And the jump room's kind of cool because there are no mobs to fight here. There's nothing, there's no traps, there's nothing that's going to kill you. Except you might kill yourself out of frustration if you have poor Mario skills. If you don't like climbing and jumping, then this is like horrifying. This is a horrifying experience. But we're just going to spend a minute in here just so that you can see what this is like. Now either one of the puzzles can be done. Remember I said that you have a choice of 3 and one's going to be locked out. It doesn't matter which one you do. You just need to get through one of them to advance to get to the next zone. And all you're trying to do here in the jump room is get up top, and there's going to be a phylactery, a big crystal thing that you need to destroy, and then just walk through a door. You can see it up there. It's in at the top on the east wall. And there's some really tricky jumps as you're getting up there. But we're not, like I said, we're not going to go this way. I just wanted you to see it and just go back down to the bottom and go right back through the portal and go through the north portal next. Go through the north portal. And this is the trap room. You don't have to have any Mario skills to get through here. It's just a very simple gauntlet of traps that if you have higher hit points, you can just run right through. And I'm going to demonstrate that. But if you have trappers, you can just wait for them to do the traps. Spell wards, bear traps. Feel free to run through it. If you're new, I want you to. I want you to just go ahead and run through it and see if you can survive it. And if you die, we'll raise you. No big deal.
Sorry, I'm lost. I'm in the portal room with 3 portals.
Go to the north one.
Okay, that brings me back to the crystals and mirrors.
That's the east one.
Yeah, you went through the wrong one. So go back through. There you go. Now go through.
Okay.
Go through the north portal there to your right. There you go. Now you're with us. I see ya. Just go ahead and go through that gate, and there's a series of traps, mini traps, spell wards, and just try running through them. The only objective here really is just to get to the other end of the little, the little gauntlet of traps. The traps don't have to be done. You know, you don't need a trapper. It can be nice, especially if you have squishier people with you. But once you get upstairs here, in the back, there's a lever that opens up a gate at the end of the hall. So let's see, Lacertus, I want you to come back here where I'm jumping up and down. I want to get all the new folks up here. I want all the new folks to come where I am. Yep, you got it, Lion Fear. Just come to the end of the hall. Up the steps. And Chocolate. Okay, great. You guys are all here. So this lever here, where I'm at, will open up the gate at the end of the hall upstairs. And it only stays open for like 5 seconds or whatever. So you kind of need 2 people here. You know, one person goes down there while the other person opens up the lever or pulls the lever. But if you're really quick, you know, if you have like abundant step or something, you can pull this lever and make it through yourself. But you have to be super fast about it. And then once one person gets through, there's another lever on the other side that they can let people through. So come on down to the end of the hall and go through the gate here. And then there's a phylactery here, another big crystal here that needs to be destroyed. And that's the only objective here to get past this puzzle, is just to destroy this phylactery and to keep moving. Go ahead and beat that down. And sometimes groups, you know, because there's not a lockout till really late in the raid, they'll keep a LFM up and have people join late, and so they'll sometimes keep a person on the lever here. That way they can let latecomers in. But we're just going to keep moving and all stay together. And I want all the new folks to go straight ahead out to the edge with me. And I want you to see that right now we're just right above where we started. That was that first puzzle that we did when we first entered the raid. So if you ever needed to go back and, you know, somebody died or whatever, or you need to go back for some reason, you could just jump down. Go ahead and jump down with me. Just so you can see. And I'm just going to take you right back through. We just go right back through to catch up with the rest of the party. Lion Fear, go ahead and yeah, there you go. And we're going to go right back through the same way we went the first time. Hi Bobby, welcome to the live stream. Welcome Smoker8. And we're going to go back through this portal in the center here. Which takes us to the puzzle selection chamber, and we're going to go north. And the trap room. Our excellent trappers cleared all the traps for us. Go ahead and go down to the gate. I'll pull the lever for you guys. And once you get through, I'll need you to pull the lever for me. Oh, almost made it. Needed to jump abundant step a little bit sooner. Alright, and through the portal. So this next area is the third puzzle, third mirror puzzle, third of 6. And it looks like it's already done. So we're going to go to the southeast of the zone where there's another portal to the next zone. And now we're on the shadow side again. And just go out to the edge if you're new. I just want to show you again where now we're just over the shadow side
Must have stayed in the beam too long.
of the first part of the zone. Once again, Aglarasa is up top shooting down at us.
I'm not sure where I go. I'm still up top here.
Just follow me.
I'm not sure where you're at, Lion Fear.
The LPR's got me. Thank you.
Mirrors are being fierce tonight.
Thank you.
Oh, there you are. You just came out of the portal. I just wanted you to come out to the outer edge in the west, just to see that we were over the previous zone. Just like before, except we're on the shadow side.
It'd be worth mentioning that the portal's always in the middle there on the shadow side.
Yep, and let's go ahead and go through the portal. Like Mickey said, it's always in the middle on the shadow side here at the top of the steps. And now we're going to fight the Bone Guardian. Still a mini boss, no big deal. There's going to be endlessly spawning trash here, which can generally be ignored. If the Bone Guardian isn't killed fast enough, he will sacrifice the trash to regenerate. So he can be, you know, if you're on higher difficulties and you got lower DPS or you're short-handed, sometimes this room can be a little problematic, but usually not a problem. No named loot that comes from that chest, but go ahead and loot it and step through the portal. Welcome, Crazy Evan. And once again, go straight ahead when you come through the portal and step to the outer edge.
Let's leave the helm horror up.
It's okay. Yeah, I should have pointed that out first.
There'll be another one in the next room.
Yep. So you can see now we're 2 stories up. But just like before, like I showed you, like we can just go down and down again if we want to, if we need to come back through to get somebody who's lost or dead or something. Mirror puzzle number 5. There was a helmed horror when we first zoned in, and that helmed horror had to be killed in order for the laser to activate. So for those of you who are tuning in, if you weren't here for the beginning of the live stream, just want to know like what server you're from, if you have done these raids before, if you're learning along with us. Alright, the portal to the next zone is in the southeast. And now we're on the shadow side. Now we're going to have another helmed horror and a undead beholder to kill before the mirror puzzles can be done. Like I said, the mirror puzzles are the same every time, so the solution is the same every time. They're pretty straightforward. If you struggle with them, the solutions are on DDO Wiki. These raids have been out long enough so that usually if you get a new group, there's at least one person that knows them and can knock them out pretty quickly. And if if the live stream, people watching the live stream, if you guys have any questions about any parts of this raid, just let me know. I'll answer questions, and my attention is mainly focused here on the folks that are signed up for the event here in the raid, but I'm going to be watching, I'm watching a live chat as well, and so answer questions when I can. I haven't even run this raid since the last time we hosted it as a teaching raid, like 6 months ago. And so we actually did it in guild on Monday night so that I could just sort of shake off the dust and rust,
I hate to say this, thanks, but you're solving it wrong.
And we did it on R1, which was really cool. It was the first time I've ever done these raids on R1. First time I ever did them since Reaper mode came out. So it was cool. It was cool to do them on Reaper, and just it was surprising. Since I hadn't done them in 6 months, it was like, forget a few little things.
That's the wrong one. Good to go.
Go ahead and go through the portal at the top of the steps, and this will take us to the second puzzle selection chamber. Same as the first one in layout, that there's, a portal north, south, and west, and it's 3 different puzzles. One of them will be randomly locked out. In this case, the one to the west is locked out again, but it's 3 different puzzles this time. And their locations are the same every time. So the south portal is what is called red light, green light, which is a puzzle that is despised by a lot of people. And it's basically like a very simple maze that you have to navigate through, and there are these orbs, and they're gonna work like a stoplight. Red light and red, yellow, and green. Green means go, red means stop, and yellow means it's about to turn red. And when it's red, if you move, you end up taking like a 1,000-point disintegrate, or whatever. I'm not sure how many points. But a lot of people experience, taking that damage even though they don't move. And so it can be really frustrating for some folks. So I actually like red light, green light. It's kind of intense. We're going to take you in there so you can see it. But the west puzzle is a puzzle called Gravity, which I would encourage you to never do. And if you're ever with a raid leader that insists on doing Gravity, you might want to consider not running with them anymore, because they're probably like a sadomasochist or something like that. Gravity is an intricate puzzle that requires a lot of cooperation amongst a lot of different people, and so either you have to have a whole bunch of people that already know what to do, or the leader's going to have to take a lot of time explaining to everybody what to do, and it's just a big time sink. It's a waste of time, and there really is no advantage to doing it. There's a junk chest at the end of it, but I guess that when these came out they were end game chests, but not anymore. There's no real value in doing it other than if you want to waste time or just see a different part of the raid, but we never do that one. So west is Gravity, south is red light, green light, and then north is what's called combat training. And we're going to do the north one, but I want you to see the red light, green light as well. I want you to experience that. So, and we'll just de-door out once we get part of the way in. But everybody go ahead and go in, and you'll see there's an orb floating ahead of us. It looks like a golf ball. And it just turned red, so don't move. You can equip spell absorption, like your Pale Lavender Ioun Stone, and that will absorb any hits that you take. So if you have spell absorption, you want to equip it. Go ahead and jump down if it's green, but falling does count as moving for purposes of getting hit by the red light thingy. Don't worry about dying. So at a few different points of this simple maze, there's going to be some doors that we need to, some barriers that we need to bring down using pressure plates. So if you look in the 3 different directions. You'll see there's like pressure plates down there. It's red, don't move. And now we can go out to the pressure plates to bring down that barrier. And it's yellow, and you should just stop if it turns yellow. And it's green. Looks at somebody to open up that other pressure plate to the west, please. Somebody's going there. Thank you, LPR. See, like, you guys weren't even moving, were ya? That's why some people hate this puzzle, because they just seem to die without even moving. I mean, I've got it on video that you guys weren't moving, and you just died. So, I don't know really what, I don't really know what to tell you. I know that part's frustrating. And like I said, some people experience that. I've experienced it. Most of the time I don't, but once in a while I do. There are these Kuljarg Battle Ragers. We're going to see these again in the end fight. They really slow you down. They can knock you down. They have a lot of hit points. And like I said, it's just basically a simple maze that you have to work your way through. But I want everybody to go ahead and D-door, because I want to take us through combat training instead. So let's get D-doors up, and everybody take a D-door. We're going to go right back to the beginning.
For purposes of being colorblind in that particular spot, the yellow orb flashes, and the red orb has the hands around it.
Ooh, good call.
Good point. Thank you for mentioning that. So if you missed that, if those watching the live stream, if you missed what my guildie just said, if you're colorblind, the yellow orb, when it turns yellow, it flashes, which I've never even noticed. And then when it turns red, it has the hand stop sign hands, the stopping hands swirling around it. And now we're just going to go right through the way that we already went. We're just retracing our steps. When you get to the first puzzle selection chamber, you're going north. Takes us back into the trap room. Thank you, LPR, for getting that. We are just about to the end fight, so does anybody have any questions about any parts of the raid so far? I'm sure you can see, if you're new to this, why this can be really confusing to folks that are new to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially dying for no reason to that red light, green light thing.
Right? A lot of different zones, a lot of different ways you can go. I want to say again that in the puzzle selection rooms, it doesn't matter which puzzle you do. Ultimately the objective is just to get through one of them so that you can continue on in the raid. And you could, you know, potentially do more than one. Like, let's say somebody joins late and the group did the trap room, but the person didn't feel like they could run through that, but they liked jumping. They could just go and do the jump room by themselves to get through there instead of doing the trap room. Okay, so this next portal in the north,
I'm lost. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
I'm where the chest is. There's one portal. I probably went the wrong way.
No, just go through the portal. That's where the Bone Guardian was. Okay, now there'll be a portal to your side. Oh, somebody's with you. And then,
Thank you.
there you go, just follow Mickey. You should be on the shadow side. There'll be a portal in the middle, taking you to the second puzzle selection room, which is where we're at right now. There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mickey. Go ahead and go through the north portal. This is combat training. I don't want anybody to go up yet. I want to explain how this works, please. Come on out here toward the middle, where I am. There's a phylactery here that we have to destroy to get through the raid. And there's a barrier around it. And the way that you bring down the barrier is there's going to be these special mobs at the top of the tower behind us. And they will give us like a little aura. And when we get the aura, we'll run down here and jump at the barrier and like explode on the barrier, and it brings the barrier down for a few seconds. And then you want to have like maybe some like fury shotters or, you know, casters with greater ruin or something like that down here to hit the phylactery when the barrier comes down. And we'll just keep doing that until the phylactery is destroyed. So I want one person, you know, with like a strong greater ruin or something to stay down here, and everybody else can go up the stairs and up the ladder to the top of the tower. Definitely all the new folks go up to the top.
Health garbage and physical, by the way. Did you?
Yes. You definitely, well, you probably want to take off your feather fall, because if you feather fall down well, okay, so let me explain how this works. Don't kill anything yet, guys. It's kind of a weird, unique thing here. So if you look in the middle, you see there's this Cult of the Dragon Death Lord who has like a shadowy orb around him. A shadowy aura, like a blob. You're frozen, Lion Fear? Okay, I see you coming up now. Okay, here you are. So whoever kills the mob with the shadowy blob on them will take on that blob around themselves, and you'll be able to see it on the player. And that's, whoever gets that needs to jump down and basically run at the there you go, Mickey. Run at the phylactery, and whoever has that orb, that blob, will explode like 5 seconds after they get it, and you need to run at the phylactery and explode on the phylactery. If you don't do that, if you explode before you get to the phylactery, you're going to take a lot of damage, and if you have lower hit points, you're going to die. And so that's why you want to take feather fall off, is because if you're feather falling down to the phylactery with that blob, you may not make it in time, because you fall slower as you have feather fall on. There you go, Lacertus. Run down there and run at the thing. Explode on that. And after it takes a little bit of damage, the barrier comes right back up. And so that's all we're doing, is we're just beating down the mobs that have the blob. And then whoever gets the blob jumps over and runs at the phylactery. Don't kill this one. I want to... Oh, never mind. I was going to show the live streamers how it worked, but it's all good.
You can have the next one.
Okay. That's great. Nobody attack the next one. So when I get it...
Oh, the barrier returned, but we got it anyways.
Oh, we're done?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and jump down, folks. There's going to be trash that keeps respawning there, but we're done. The phylactery has been destroyed. So, this is the portal to the shrine room. Up to this point, you can detour back to the start safely, but once you go through here, which we're going through right now, and technically it's once you go through here and move. But once you get through here, you don't ever want a D door anymore because you'll get locked out. Remember that beginning portal right at the start? That's gone now. And if you didn't see the text on the screen, it said the raid is now locked. So this is the shrine room before the end fight. Go ahead and shrine up. Hi Robert, welcome to the live stream. I'm glad you like the channel. I appreciate hearing it. So I'm gonna explain how the end fight works now. And it's definitely one of the more unique end fights. There's just a few different objectives going on, and multiple objectives happening simultaneously. There's going to be like things that are happening. You know how like we've been going back and forth between the light side and the shadow side? Well, we're going to be doing that in the end fight too. And there are things that need to be done on the light side and things that need to be done on the shadow side, so the group is going to end up splitting up at some points during the end fight. So we can actually go ahead and go in. Don't really need to explain anything before we go in there. Bolo, can you go ahead and grab the dragon and take her to the usual place, please?
You got it.
Thank you.
You can kill trash for you if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. Need 2 self-sufficient trash killers, please. 2 of the High Lords, please.
Yeah, I can do the thing.
Thank you. Treadway and 12 gauge. So you can see there's Aglarasa, the Shadow Dragolich. Oh, I need somebody to Mickey, did you say you would do the Galjargs?
Yeah, I can play with them.
Great. Can you do it right over here? This is our usual spot where I'm jumping.
Yep.
Thanks, bro. So Bolo's going to take the dragon over to the corner, which is a great spot because, you know, dragons wing buffet, and if you're in the corner, you can't get wing buffeted back. So just let him play with the dragon. Plus, you know, if the dragon's facing the corner, if it does its breath weapon, it won't hit anybody else that's beating on him from behind. And there's going to be these mobs. If you come over here where Mickey is along the north wall, get a little bit closer to the dragon, Mickey. That way you can reach Bolo with your heels, like right about where I am. Thank you. So these Kuljarg Battle Ragers are going to spawn. There's going to be 5 of them that'll spawn periodically. And it's a good idea to have somebody that can take care of them, that can just basically babysit them. Sometimes if you get an Uber tank, your tank will take care of the dragon and the Kuljargs at the same time, just tank everything. But there are some problems with doing that. It's not just whether or not somebody's a good enough tank, it's that the Kuljargs make it difficult to move around, and so if the tank is tanking everything, it can make it difficult to reposition the dragon when that needs to be done. And the dragon has to be in a specific location when the raid completes. But if you get one of these Kuljarg Battle Ragers, the red name guys, just bring it over to Mickey right here next to the dragon. He's going to just keep him occupied. And they're like little dwarven skeleton football players. They run at you and knock you down. When they die, they're just going to respawn. So it's best if you can get a tank that can just hold them and not kill them. But like I said, if you get the aggro of these Battle Ragers, just take it over to Mickey and he'll intimidate it off of you. Is your aura killing them, Mickey?
Well, it's killing them is me trying to hit that one as Treadway is running it in circles around me.
Can you intimidate it?
I figured you'd get it by now.
Yeah, I got it. He's gonna kill him. He's almost dead now. I'll get the next one.
Yeah, I preferably want somebody to tank them that isn't going to keep killing them, because if they just keep respawning, that's a problem.
The way I used to do it before was just hit them with one burst when somebody drags them up and they get off of them. But Treadway is really picking them off.
You don't have Intimidate on that tune, do you?
Might be high enough for these. Let me try.
Yeah, cool. I also want the new folks to look over the edge and just see that we're now 3 stories up where we first started. Just like before, you can always just jump over and go back through if you need to. You know, the raid is only locked at the very start, so you wouldn't want a detour, but we could go back through here. And so if there's ever an emergency, if you're ever in a situation where you're getting a lag wipe or, you know, almost everybody's dead, you can always just grab stones and like run over the edge here and just raise people down there. The dragon's not going to chase you over the edge, and you can just go right back through. Okay, so what's happening here is we got Kuljargs, that one person, Mickey in this case, is going to take care of. We got a tank taking care of Aglarasa. There's the other trash mobs that spawn periodically too. And the casters, you know, we have 2 self-sufficient people taking care of trash. Here you go, Mickey. Stop killing the Kuljargs. The casters, the caster trash mobs, are the top priority for the trash folks, because for every one of the casters, I forget what they're called, Death Lords or something, that's alive in the zone, the dragon gets DR out of that, like 20% resistance to damage, and then she does more damage with her physical attacks. And since there can be up to 5 of those spellcaster guys, and so she can actually have 100% immunity to damage if all 5 of those casters are alive in the zone. So it's really important that the trash folks kill those casters as fast as possible. Yeah, there it is, the Cult of the Dragon Death Lord. So we got the 2 tanks and 2 people killing trash. Now everybody else can just beat on the dragon from behind. And what we're doing is we're trying to beat the dragon down to 50%. When the dragon gets to 50% health, she's going to spawn shadows. And what we want to do is drag the shadows to the center mound. There's this mound of rubble in the center. The shadows are coming up right now. Drag all the shadows to the center mound. Kill the shadows there, and they're going to spawn these little bubbles. They're just like these dark bubbles, and you want to click on those dark bubbles. There's one right there. Go ahead and click on the dark orb if you see it. But that's why we want to kill them on the center mound, because so people don't have to like run around looking for it. You kill the shadows in the center, and then everybody knows where it is. I didn't go through because I didn't think a lot of people went through. So let's beat down the dragon a little bit more, guys. Please sit tight on the shadow side. I'm going to be over there momentarily. Alright, we got more shadows coming up. So everybody but the 2 tanks and the trash folks, drag the shadows to center. When you see the little black orb come up, you want to go ahead and click on that. There's one now, right in the center. Chakma, click on that. Any one of these orbs, just click on it. Lion Fear. You might have to manually click on it so that you're not just swinging your weapon at it. Okay, I see Lacertus, but it looks like Chakma and Lion Fear didn't make it through. That's okay. Everybody who's here on the shadow side, I want you to just turn right back around and go through the portal behind you. It's good to show you that that portal just comes right back here to this fight. And she's spawning more shadows. Just bring them to the center mound. Kill the shadows on the center mound. And take the orb. Take the little shadow portal through to the shadow side. If it spawns. There's one now. Everybody click on that little orb. I want to make sure all the new folks get through here. Okay, looks like Lion Fear didn't make it through. Stay right here, guys. I'm going to go through and get more shadows. And spawn more portals.
There's one circle in me.
I'm just gonna beat down Aglarasa.
There's a portal behind me.
Oh, don't attack those Kulljogs, Lion Fear. Because when they die, they just respawn. So it's best to just have one person babysit them for the entire end fight so that they're out of the way. When she went down to 0 health, she just you see she regenerates back to 50. Okay, we got shadows up here in the center. Lion Fear, I want you to help kill these shadows and click on the portal. Click on the little dark bubble. We got Beholder here. You might, so if maybe you're like trying to click on it, and that's just gonna make you swing your weapon at it, kind of like when you're trying to click on a D-door and there are aggressive mobs around it. So you might have to manually select it and click use, or I don't know what your default is set to, but like I use backspace and enter to click on something and use it. Let's see.
I got you all tracked.
Try facing away from the dragon too.
Just stay. I'm sorry this is taking a while, guys. Just sit tight. I'm gonna get more shadows on the other side. Just go ahead and beat down the dragon. Every time she gets beat down by about 20%, she's gonna spawn more shadows. People on the shadow side, just sit tight. Here's more shadows coming up. Bring them to the center mound. Chakma, come onto the center. Bring all shadows to center. Go to the center mound, Chakma. And click on one of these dark portals.
I made it.
Alright, Chakma made it through. Okay, so now we're on the shadow side. And we want to go around the zone and we're going to kill a couple helmed horrors, a couple beholders. Looks like the beholders were already killed. I think they wandered over to the folks that were here. Okay, everybody go to where I am in the north. If you're on the shadow side, the new folks go to the northeast corner where this portal is. There's gonna be shadows that spawn throughout this part. No big deal. So this is one of the objectives that needs to be done in order to complete the raid. There you have to we have to like find Aglarasa's phylactery and destroy it. And her phylactery can be in one of 6 locations. And you get to those locations through these portals. You can see there's another portal just south of us in this in the southeast corner. You see there's another portal over there. And there's a total of 6 of these portals, and the way that you bring the portals up is by moving this relay crystal to the next target crystal there. And you see there's another portal that came up over here. There's another little room in there where there's a phylactery. And there's 6 of these little rooms with phylacteries, and like 5 of them are like decoys, and one of them's the true phylactery. And we're trying to find the real phylactery. And so I want everybody to go ahead and come into this portal now. Don't kill the phylactery until everybody's in there. So I just want everybody to see what these little rooms look like. It's a little real shadowy little room. There's gonna be some trash shadow mobs. And you see there's a phylactery. And we're just going to beat down the phylactery. If it was the right phylactery, we would have seen a message from the dragon saying something or other. But it wasn't, so that was a decoy, a false phylactery, and it just shoots us back over to the dragon's side. And so what we want to do now is just attack the dragon again until she spawns more shadows. And then we're going to drag the shadows to the center again and go through the portals. She will infinitely regenerate at this stage of the raid, so if you beat her down to 0, she just heals to half like she just did. She just spawned trashed shadows, so bring them to the center. And when they spawn the portals, click on the portal, go back to the shadow side. There's a portal up. Go ahead and click on any one of the portals. If you didn't make it through, don't worry. So here's the thing about the whole true phylactery, fake phylactery deal. As soon as a phylactery goes down, the position of the true phylactery gets reshuffled. And so like we could go right back into that same room, and that might be the real phylactery this time, or it could be another decoy. Like I said, every time one of them gets destroyed, the true phylactery's position is randomized. So there are different strategies for doing this part. If you join a pug, more than likely what they're going to do is just keep going into the same portal over and over and over until it happens to be the right phylactery. It's like rolling a 1d6 and just hoping you roll a 6. Eventually you're going to get it. What you can also do is you can send somebody in to like, let's see. I want one person, one of the High Lords here that can help, that can prep this one. And Lion Fear wants you to go in there too. LPR and Lion Fear wants you to go in that one. Don't kill the phylactery, just prep it. And let's see. Mona Lisa and Lacertus, I want you to go into this one. And the rest of us can go in over here. Oops, somebody destroyed it.
Oh, they found it.
Okay, it's fine. So what I wanted you to do is just prep. So what I was going to show you there is that you can prep, you can send people into the different rooms, prep the phylacteries, and then all kill them at the same time, increasing your odds of getting the true phylactery. We were going to do 3 at once, and 3 out of 6 is, 50% chance of getting the right one. But that is really, really hard to coordinate. We just got lucky right there. Somebody killed it without prepping it, and it happened to be the right one. We got lucky, and that's fine. But I just wanted to show you that you could do multiple phylactery rooms at the same time. The reason why most groups won't do that is because the kill window is so short that it is extremely difficult to coordinate multiple groups trying to get it all prepped and killed at the same time. So most pugs are just going to do it one at a time. So now what we got to do is we're going to be fighting Aglarasa on the center mound. And Aglarasa has to go down on the center mound. And let's see, the new folks, I want you to go to the northeast corner where I am. I'm jumping up and down. Oh yeah. I'm such a noob. Okay, yeah, I totally forgot a part. Okay, we need to go back to the shadow side. And there's a portal up right now. I don't want you guys to do any more shards because I want the new folks to see it. Remember I said I was rusty earlier?
Hey, Ginger, just a moment, please. Mickey, when we get ready to move the dragon to the center, we're going to swing by and grab the cull jars, because if they're surrounding me, it prevents the dragon from throwing me off, and it's easier to keep the dragon in the center at that time.
Okie dokie.
Just beat down the dragon until she spawns more shadows. Every, 15% health or so, she'll just spawn more shadows. She's just gonna get right back up. And that shows you how, like, when she falls, she's only down for a few seconds. That's gonna be important later. Here come shadows. Bring them to the center. And click on the portals when they spawn. There's a portal up to go to the shadow side. And so what we want to do now is just pick up the little shards of the phylactery. They're all over in the middle of the zone. You can only pick up one, and then go right back through the portal in the west to go back to the dragon side, to the light side. Just pick up a shard of the phylactery, and then go right back through the portal in the west. And then you're going to click on these ward flames that are all the way in a circle all the way around the center, and that's going to like put the crystal in the ward flame to light it up. And we have to light up all of the ward flames. We need one more here in the west. Okay, they're all lit now. All the ward flames are lit, and we can bring the dragon in the center. Remember, she has to die on the center mound. But don't DPS the dragon yet. Let's get Gijo to bring her in the center, or Bolo Grub. And I want all the new folks to come over where I am in the northeast, because there's something here I want to show you.
Again, Bolo. Just wanted to get you unstuck.
Thank you.
Lion Fear, come on over to the northeast. There you are. So there's this lever here, and I'm showing you. You pull the lever, and it like shoots a little beam into the center. Actually, maybe it only works if they're both pulled at the same time. In the event, come over to the south corner, and you'll see there's another lever over here. When the dragon goes down, and she has to go down on the center mound, both of these levers have to be pulled at the same time, and you only have a couple seconds to do it. So it's really important that as soon as the dragon goes down, these get pulled. And so a mistake that I think a lot of pugs make is they'll just put one person on the lever. But there's going to be a bunch of trash around and stuff, and you can get interrupted by the trash. If you get hit by trash when you're pulling the lever, it will stop you from pulling it. So we like to put two people on each lever to increase the odds, that one person will successfully pull it. Because like I said, you only have a couple second window to pull it when the dragon goes down. So let's see, Mona and Chakma, why don't you go ahead and stay here. And then LPR and Lion Fear, why don't you guys take this lever over here. And the rest of us are going to beat on the dragon. Trash folks, make sure you keep trash mobs off the lever pullers. If you target the dragon, you'll see, she has a really small targeting circle. If any part of that targeting circle is on that center rubble mound, then you're good to go. But like right now, she's off of it. So we wouldn't want to kill her here, so stop DPS. Now she's good to go. We can go ahead and take her down, get ready on levers, guys. Stop DPS, stop DPS. When she jumps off the center mound, you have to stop DPS. Stop DPS. She's not on the center yet. Okay, she's on the center now. Go ahead and DPS her. Get ready on levers. Pull, pull, pull. Pull levers, pull levers. And that's it. Now we clear up the trash. And we loot our chests. I know that was a lot, guys. Probably seems really overwhelming if you're new to it. But that's the raid. The next raid, the good news is the next raid is really simple compared to this one. But does anybody have any questions about any part of this raid? And all the new folks, help yourself to the chest. You guys can open the chest. 3 chests, 3 new folks.
Okay, the shards we need to light those boards. Do we have to do anything to get them to spawn, or do they spawn automatically after you kill the phylactery?
Yep, after the phylacteries, the correct phylactery is destroyed, then those shards will be there.
Cool.
Might want to mention what happens when you die, that you have to run twice. Up here,
Oh, it's just like before, you have to run away from your soulstone twice.
another one.
Yep, go ahead and take a bio break or whatever.
Yeah, in the fold.
I've got 3 phlogistons, 4 here. And I'm gonna give,
Yeah, here, I'll just,
oh, somebody already rolled on that one. I'm just gonna give one of each of these to the new folks. And then I'll roll the other one off. There's one for Lion Fear. One for Chakma. And one for Lacertus. And then I'll give my other one to the... What did you do, high or low roller?
I did high.
Okay, I'm gonna give this last one to the low roller. And that looks like it's Lemuria. There you go, Lemuria.
Thank you.
Any questions about this raid before we recall out and do the other raid? Alright, go ahead and recall out. And like I said, take 5. Go poop or smoke or whatever it is you like to do. And then we'll do the other raid in just a few minutes. The other raid is much more straightforward and a lot shorter. Anything with a green slot? That's what I'm always looking for these days. Nope. Comms it is. Why not the heart seeds, you may be asking? Because I have hundreds of those already, and I like to use the comms for the little goodies that you can get. And some of you might not know. I mean, if you're really new to this game, or maybe if you're newer to Epics, you might not know that you can just double click the comms to bring up the barter box, and you can get little potions and stuff for these. And that's where you get your Hearts of Wood for Iconic Reincarnating and Epic Reincarnating. But I like to get these potions of spell power. I have a stack of 53 of them here. It's 25 alchemical bonuses to spell power, and that does stack with the pots you can get from like the House P shop. Even though they both say alchemical bonus, they do stack. 35 points, 35 commendations for one of them. When you're ready, go ahead and click on Ingrith and say that you want to go to the mountain summit. I'm not sure who it was, but a lot of times in our raids, just all my guildies that don't want their flogs just pass them to me, and then I'll roll them all off. But since I had several of them, I just gave one each to the folks that were signed up. And those
Thank you.
Oh hell yeah, man! Those phlogistons, by the way, are
Yep,
used
thanks again.
to put to craft your Thunderforge weapon, and you need 30 of them to put your tier 3 on your Thunderforge weapon, which is a lot. But you can do the first 2 tiers relatively cheaply. But that 3rd tier, which has a really nice ability, although a bit dated by today's standards, but some of them are still pretty nice. You do need 30 of the phlogistons. And you get Shadow Dragon Phlogistons, or Shadow Phlogistons from the raid we just did, and Fire Phlogistons from the raid we're about to do. So I thought we did really well in the last raid. I thought it was really easy, and so I think I'd like to try Epic Elite for this raid, which I think that we can do no problem. So hopefully everybody's up for a little challenge. Bolo, are you up for tanking EE?
I don't know, man. I'm awfully squishy. And E would be just fine.
Okay, great. You know, it will be a little bit harder hitting, but you know, this way you'll get to experience it. Usually we don't do higher difficulties in our teaching raids, but like I said, we did so well in that last raid, and that the other raid is the harder of the 2 raids. But these dragons hit really, really hard, especially later in the raid. So, okay, let's see. Are all the new folks in? Okay, so the folks that are signed up, who has never done this? Or if you have done it, how many times have you done it?
Never done it.
Done it a few times.
I also want to know if the people watching the live stream, if you've done this before, if you've never done it a few times and still learning. So, if you've never done it, what you're looking at, this big field, this is the whole raid. There aren't any other zones, it's just this right here. And there's going to be 2 big red dragons, the 2 raid bosses, and then there's going to be a bunch of trash that we have to deal with. And so the way that this is going to work is that we're going to have 2 different tanks holding the dragons at the north and south end of the zones. The dragons have to be kept separate in order to DPS them. If they're together, even remotely close, you can't damage them. They don't have to be on top of each other or anything. Like, they can just be like, you know, halfway across the zone from each other, or maybe a third of the way, and you can't DPS them. So you do want to keep the dragons at opposite ends of the field, generally speaking. And we're going to have a trash team. In this case, when it's Epic Elite, I like to put 4 people on trash. And they're going to, just for the whole raid, they're going to deal with the trash that is constantly respawning throughout the entire raid. And the thing with the trash is, because it constantly respawns, you really want to just like kill the easy stuff first. Really focus on the lower hit point mobs like the skeletons and the hellhounds, and lower priority are like the higher hit point mobs like the salamanders, for example. Because it all just respawns, and it's really just about keeping the numbers down and trying to keep the dungeon alert down. And so there's not a bunch of, you know, trash running all over the place. So you really want to focus on those easier to kill mobs. There's also going to be 2 magma brutes that are part of the trash mobs, and they have a lot of hit points. and they respawn pretty much right away. So there really isn't any value in killing them. It's just kind of wasting resources. So with the magma brutes, it's really just best if like one of the the trash people just sort of kite them around as they're killing trash. They're not very fast. They can hit kind of hard, but like I said, they're not very fast, so it's pretty easy to outrun them, and just sort of kite them around while you're killing trash. And it's generally good for the trash people to be, pretty self-sufficient. There's going to be skeletons, hellhounds, caster human mobs, salamanders, magma brutes. I think that's it. So we're going to have 4 trash people just killing... What'd you say? Oh, well, thank you. So we're going to have 4 trash people doing trash for the whole raid, and 2 tanks holding the dragons at the north and south ends. And the rest of the crew will be the dragon DPS crew. And the dragon DPS crew is going to move back and forth in between the dragons as the different stages of the raid advance. That's a good question. I don't know if these mobs can be charmed. I don't remember ever being in a group that was trying to charm them. Does anybody know the answer to that question?
I'm not sure if they keep spawning, if you charm them while they keep spawning. I don't know.
Most of the time, dead.
Well, there's just a lot of skills you'd have to do, like, command end and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've run this raid, God, I don't know, I feel like hundreds of times, and I've never seen anybody charm mobs, so I'm not really sure how to answer your question. But I can say that, like I said, I've never been in a group that did it, and I've joined pugs, so...
And magma brutes are red names. So
yeah, they definitely can't. There's definitely some mobs some trash mobs that can't be charmed. Yeah, feel free. Try it out. See what happens. So we'll start with the dragon DPS crew. We're going to start them on like the North Dragon in this case. And you'll beat the dragon down. And you'll only be able to beat the dragon down so much. Like, I don't know, 20% or whatever. And then the dragon will become invulnerable. And the dragon's skin will turn into, like, it'll look like magma. And you'll hear us say, like, North Dragon magma. And then, DPS crew goes south. And so you'll stop DPSing the North Dragon, and the DPS crew will go to the South Dragon and beat the South Dragon down as far as that dragon can be beat down. So you're going to be moving back and forth between the dragons, beating them down as much as they can be for whatever, for that stage of the raid. And once we beat the dragons down to a certain point, they're going to fly away. And there's 2 gargantuan like magma elementals. They're called the Volcanic Annihilator and Volcanic Devastator. They're going to come out. They're huge and really cool looking. And we're just going to, at that point, all the trash people, everybody, because the dragons are gone, so even the tanks, everybody is just going to form a big pile and use AoEs and everything to just chew everything down. But we got to kill the 2, like the Volcanic Annihilator and Devastator. And once they're gone, then the dragons are going to come back, the tanks will reacquire their aggro, and the DPS crew will move back and forth between them. Once we beat the dragons down to 50% health, they sort of change up their own strategy, and, well, ultimately, we have to destroy the artifact that's in the middle. You can see there's like the crystal-y thing with a light beam shooting up to the sky. And there's going to be a barrier around that artifact for the first half of the raid. But once we beat the dragons down to 50%, that artifact becomes vulnerable. And at that point, once the artifact becomes vulnerable, the dragon DPS crew will switch to artifact DPS and trash only. There will be no more dragon DPS until the artifact is destroyed. And the artifact barrier will only come down for until you beat it down like 20% health, and it'll come right back up, and then you'll just work on trash. And then about 60 seconds later, the barrier will come down, you can beat down the artifact again for another 20%, and then the barrier comes back up, and while the barrier's up, you just work on trash. And during this time, the tanks are going to hold the dragons in place, and nobody DPSs the dragons. You don't want to pull the dragons off the tank and have the dragons running around everywhere, trampling over people and killing them and whatnot. And then you're just going to keep doing that until the artifact is destroyed. When the artifact is destroyed, it blows up, and if you're near it, you're going to take some damage, and it can kill you. It does a lot of damage. So just like with the laser beams in the last raid, like if you were in my guild and this was your first time, I'd tell you to get on the artifact when it goes down. Like I would tell you that was important because I'd want to watch you blow up. But we're not going to do that to you. But I'm just letting you know these are standard hazing rituals in this in this raid. So don't be surprised if you see people playing jokes on each other about trying to get them to blow up in the artifact is the point. It's all in good fun. But it happens. You know, it's like the end of part 4 in the Shroud when it's their first time. You tell them to click on the portal. It's that kind of thing. So when the artifact is ultimately destroyed, and like I said, it blows up, so you don't want to be near it when it's going down. At that point, the dragons will each drop to 5% health. So this emphasizes an important point. There's no value in DPSing the dragons after they get to 50% health, because once the artifact is destroyed, they immediately drop to 5% health. And so this is one of the mistakes that you might see some pugs doing, is they keep beating on the dragon, which is just, you know, maybe pulling the aggro off the tanks, and they're just wasting time when they should be beating on trash in the artifact. And when the artifact goes down, the dragons drop to 5% health anyways. So there was no point in beating them down beyond 50, because they drop to 5% when the artifact goes down. And once the artifact goes down, you're going to go kill the North Dragon, then the South Dragon. The order doesn't matter, but we just, you know, we'll send everybody north and south. And once both dragons are dead, then we win. So it's trash crew, 2 dragon tanks, and a dragon DPS crew of 6. Moving back and forth between the dragons. Once they get to 50, everybody except the tank switches to artifact and trash. If you have any questions before we start, let me know, but I'm going to figure out jobs here. Chakma, since you're a range tune, I'm going to put you on trash, okay? And then Treadway, I'm going to put you on trash, and I want one more person on trash. Who would like to do trash?
Wooder will do trash.
Thank you, Wooder. Okay, the dragons have complicated names, so they are affectionately called Fatty and Skinny by a lot of people. So I'll be tanking Fatty in the south, and Bolo is going to be tanking Skinny in the north. Their names are actually Therexata and Navarlich. And our trash crew is going to be 12 Gauge, Treadway, Chakma, and Wooder, and then everybody else is part of the Dragon DPS crew. Oh, and I should have written that everybody starts north. I know, right? I didn't make this up. I adopted this nomenclature from others. Okay, let's see.
Hit harder than the other.
You know, are you sure that that's true? Because I thought they were the same, but I've heard some people say that one of them hits harder than the other. Anybody have any feelings about that?
Bolo, you mentioned it last time, didn't you?
No, I don't know.
I've never actually noticed.
No, yeah, I noticed somebody that mentioned it.
But there is an important point about how hard the dragons hit. During the final stages of the raid, they're going to get these super buffs, and you only know that they have it if you examine them and like look at the buffs that they have, and they're called Artifact Rage and Artifact Overdraw. When they have the Artifact Rage, they do 300% damage with their physical attacks. When the Artifact Overdraw buff, they do 400% damage with physical attacks. It hurts really bad. So you really, like, a lot of times the tanks will just kite the dragons around there in the final stage because they hit so hard. But Bolo and I think are both going to try to tank them proper for the whole raid. We'll see. But I'm going to ask some of the new folks to, like, get in front of the dragons at that point because I want you to experience, like, how hard they hit. They hit crazy hard. In any event, Artifact Rage and Overdraw dragons do a lot of damage. Hell yeah. I want you to try it. The trash doesn't spawn right away, so even the trash crew can just start north. But let Bolo establish aggro first. So I'll be on the fatty in the south, Skinny in the north. See, I can't even. I remember their names, but I can't remember which one's which. Trash should be 12 gauge, Treadway, Chalk, and Wooter, and everyone else is part of the Dragon DPS group, and the DPS group will start north, including trash people, because like I said, no trash in the beginning. Once you click on the artifact, the raid locks, nobody else can enter, and things get started. So everybody north, everybody not named Voodoo, is starting in the north. Let's see if I can embarrass myself by dying on the live stream. It's happened. I'm not going to pretend that tanking these dragons proper is easy for me on Epic Elite. At least not when they have the big buffs. And I am prone to doing stupid things and being distracted when I'm doing videos and live streaming. So you're just beating that dragon down until it goes magma.
Wait, let the dragon come up north a little bit first. Alright, go ahead and start beating on him.
For those of you watching the live stream, if you haven't watched my videos before, haven't seen me play this tune,
North magma.
DPS Group South. This is like a Enlightened Spirit Warlock tank. Not a true tank. You know, true tanks can get a lot better numbers than I can get. But I am a con build built for high AC and PRR. 201 AC, 244 PRR. So I can tank most stuff in the game, but Reaper mode, you know, higher Reaper skulls, things definitely get... I can't tank like, you know, R10s or something like that. But EE, Fire on Thunder Peak, usually not too much of a problem. The DPS crew should be beating on the South Dragon now. Okay, South is Magma, DPS crew North. Trash will be spawning any minute. When I made this tune, there was no such thing as Reaper mode, and I actually... These were the endgame raids when I made this tune, when Warlocks came out, and so it was a goal, a primary goal of this build was to be able to tank these dragons on Epic Elite through the whole raid. And at the time, that was like, that was kind of a tough thing to do. Bring everything together. The dragons have flown away, so just bring all the trash, the two big boys together, into a big pile. It might get laggy. It usually does. Not to worry. But standing up against stuff like this is just no problem. Like, I can stand here all day long and not do anything, and this stuff isn't going to hurt me. In fact, I'll just stand here just so that you can see. And my build is posted in the Warlock forums, by the way, so like I say, if you're not familiar with it, if you want to see, you know, how it's set up, it's in the Warlock forums. It's right there on the first page. It says, like, Voodoo Warlock Enlightened Spirit Companion Thread or something like that. Okay, the big boys are dead. The dragons are reappearing. DPS crew north. Looks like I got a magma brute on me. If the trash folks could peel it off me. Actually, I'll just kill it. Never mind. Don't even worry about it. So now you can see the dragon has the artifact Rage. That's the 300% damage buff, and that even that buff can hurt. So DPS crew should be working on the North Dragon now. It's easier to just kill the magma brute for me, and then it'll just respawn and they can grab it when it respawns, as opposed to have the trash crew come over here and try to peel it off me. Of course, since they're ranged, that wouldn't have been a big deal, but sometimes I like to stand up here. It's not a safe spot. It's in the corner, but sometimes she
North magma.
knocks me out of it. DPS grew south. Now that artifact rage buff that I was showing you, see she doesn't have it now, or he, I don't know which one's the guy and the girl. But it switches between the two dragons. So the other dragon, I believe, has it now. DPS crew should be working on the south dragon. Okay. So this is the point in the raid in which we're done with dragon DPS. The dragon tanks are just going to hold them in the north and south, and everybody is on trash and artifact now. Everybody but me and Bolo is working on trash and artifact. If the artifact is vulnerable, beat on it until the things come back up. Other than that, work on trash. Use my staunch. That was a big hit. See, now he's got that. This is the last part of the raid. They've got the artifact overdraw, 400% damage. This shit gets real now. And like I said, I'm not gonna pretend that it's easy for me. Like sometimes they kill me. Sometimes, especially because like I only have like a couple of big heals, and if the dragon lands like 3 hits back to back to back.
Trash spawn
Then
in
they're
a
gonna get
certain
me.
location like it does in Madstone.
Yep. If somebody wants to point it out, because I can't really do that. But basically like in the corners. But it's, yeah, it spawns from the same spots every time, so just look around and see where it comes from. Not a really good angle for the camera.
Ow.
Somebody get our healer up, please. Oh,
Trash away from Bolo.
the new folks, I encourage you to come over here and get in front of the dragon in the south corner, just so that you can see what it feels like. My dragon has the big artifact overdraw buff right now. Feel free to get in its face. We'll raise you, no big deal. I just want you to see what that feels like. Like, this dragon hits hard. Once you've taken a hit or two, you can back off.
A lot of trash on the North Dragon.
That's some tough stuff, isn't it? Mickey's gonna get you right up. I just wanted you, like I said, I want you guys to see, you know, this now is the time to experience something like this, so you don't go into a pug and jump in front of the dragon and, you know, you didn't realize how hard they hit.
Sorry, man, I didn't see where you were.
If you're running this raid and you got your tanks are unable to survive the dragons and the dragons start running loose, this can turn into a shit show really fast because the dragons will just start running rampant and just bulldozing people. Like you saw how like most of you got one shot when you came over here. Like they'll just keep doing that to everybody, and this raid can wipe pretty quickly if you're doing it on a higher difficulty and you got folks that are not prepared for it. Okay, artifact. We've got 2 more iterations of the artifact before it's going to get destroyed, so it's safe to get close to it now. And if the new folks, if you want to be on the artifact when it blows up, I welcome you to do that. It's, you know, experience it. See what that feels like. See if you can survive it. Like, it's all good. We'll raise you. In fact, just for fun, I say everybody collapses on the artifact. And we'll all just see who survives. Just go for it. What the hell? Give the live streamers something to laugh about. So do it. Everybody on the artifact when it comes down.
Oh boy.
We're not gonna raid wipe. Not you, Mickey. We don't want the healer to get on there. But everybody else. It'll be fun, I promise. There you go, artifact. Everybody on the artifact. Just go for it. Like I said, you can see what you can experience it here, so you don't have to experience it for the first time in a pug.
I didn't think I took any
Hey,
damage.
most people survived it. Okay, kill the North Dragon first. Everybody on the North Dragon. Voodoo does not have any racial past lives. I'm working on Ginger's now. But I got about 8 more to go on Ginger, then I'm going to start working on Voodoo's past lives, racial past lives. Great job, guys. Now we just clean up the trash, drag all the trash to the center by the chest. That was epic elite. That was awesome. If any of the new folks have any questions about any parts of this raid, let me know. Sometimes there is a bug where the trash will continuously respawn even after the raid is over. Hopefully that won't happen here. And I want all the new folks to go ahead and help themselves to a chest. There are 3 chests on Epic Elite, 2 on Hard, and 1 on Normal. Help yourselves to the chest, guys. Chakma, Lacertus, and Lion Fear. You guys get to open them. Did we get any named loot in the last raid? Deathwyrm Runestone. That's a nice shield. Like a druid, especially. Use that on Ginger Spice. Dragon Mask.
Yeah, it is a nice shield.
I just want to see if it's mythic or something. No. Put it up for roll, please, Lion Fear, if you don't want it. Or I'd be happy to roll it off if you want to pass it to me. I've got a dragon mask here. I'm gonna roll off too, guys. I'm also gonna give these flogs away. One each to the new folks. There you go. Chalk. Lacertus.
Nobody else on the floor?
Lion Fear. And Wooter's the only one rolling on the flog.
Oh, what's the roll on the flag?
I'll give you mine, Mama.
D99.
Because Wooter can get tanks, and I'll give you mine.
Okay, thanks.
D777 on the Dragon Mask. Looks like a Lacertus gets the Dragon Mask. There you go. What was the roll on the shield?
What is the roll on the shield?
Yeah, Gratz Lacertus.
What's the shield roll number?
Well, that's for you to decide. You just tell people what to roll and they'll roll on it. Oh, it's okay. Why don't you just pass the shield to me and I'll roll it off. Cool. And all I'm doing here is just linking it and typing D100, and that tells everybody to roll a D100, and whoever rolls the highest will win it. And then I'll pass it to whoever rolls the highest. D100 on the runestone, folks. I do, but to roll it, you type /roll D100. Like that. Not do 100, but D100. Type /roll D100 or whatever die, is there, D20, whatever you want. And that's how you get a roll to show up in the party chat. So it looks like we got a 36 and an 8 and a 75. Oh, Lion Fear. If you wanted this, then you should have taken it. You don't need to put it up for roll if you wanted it. It dropped in your name. So do you want this shield? I'm gonna give it back to you if you do. You were just testing how to roll. Are you sure you don't want it? It's a nice shield. Or are you not a shield user? Because if you want this, I want to give it to you. I didn't realize it. You never used one. Okay, it doesn't look like you're a shield user. So I'm leaving it up to you. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna give it to the high roller then, which is Lemuria. There you go.
Yeah, it's bound, actually.
Yeah, all raid loot is bound to character. Except Chronoscope loot is bound to account. The base items, anyways. Alright, well, if there are any questions about this raid or any of the raids we did, please let me know. Otherwise, that's it for this week's event. Yeah, Robert, racials are totally awesome.
Yeah, you think she is.
And I'll explain why in a minute. Don't forget to turn these raids in. Thanks for helping out, High Lords, and grats on your first completions. And have a great night. If there are any last questions on the live stream about these raids, please let me know and I will answer them. I'm going to answer your question about racial past lives here in a moment. Once again, don't forget to turn it in, guys, and have a great night. Thanks for coming out. So, are racial past lives worth it? Yes, they're awesome. So, every racial past life works like this. So, they're a little bit different than other past lives. Other past lives stack 3 of the same benefit, whatever that is. Like, if you're a sorcerer past life, gives you +1 to evocation and +20 spell points, and you can stack that 3 times for +3 to evocation and +60 spell points. Well, the racial past lives, every tier is different. So, for example, the first racial for the first past life in any race is +1 to a skill, and every race has a different skill associated with it. So, like a dwarf, I think, is intimidate, for example, or maybe it's one of them is intimidate. But every race has a different skill. The second past life in any given race is a stat point. So, for example, a Warforged, if you give 2 Warforged past lives, it's +1 to Constitution. Dwarf is also Constitution. I think Elf is like Intelligence. I think Drow is Intelligence. I don't know. There's 2 stat points available from racial past lives. From each, except for Strength, there's only 1 that has Strength. But like Human gives Wisdom. Azamar gives Wisdom for the second one. So there's lots of stat points that are available from racial past lives, which is awesome. And then the third stack, and this was so cool. I mean, it's awesome. Like, when it came out, it just blew my mind. The third racial past life in every race gives you +1 action point to spend in your racial trees. So I'm talking about your enhancement trees. You get a free action point to spend over here once you get to that third stack of any racial past life. So if you had all 11 triple stack, that's 33 racial past lives, you would be starting with 11 extra action points to spend in your racial tree. 11 extra action points, that's totally awesome. And that's what I'm working for on Ginger Spice right now, and I'm getting really close. I'm getting really excited. I'm like 8 past lives away from it. I've been working on it for the last year. Ever since Racials came out. It's been a big project for me. In any event, if you get all 33 racials, you get a free racial completionist feat, and the racial completionist feat is the same as the heroic class completionist feat. So it's +2 to all stats and +2 to all skills. But with the racial completionist feat, you don't have to spend a feat to get it; it's automatically granted. Whereas the one that you get, the completionist for classes, you have to spend a feat to get that one. So in addition to getting, if you had it triple stacked, you'd have all the, you'd have 11 different skills that had a +1 to them. You'd have +2 to all your stats, except for Strength only has +1. And then you get another +2 to all stats from getting that completionist feat. And then another +2 to all skills from the completionist feat. And 11 racial action points to spend in your tree. So lots of good stuff can be gained from racial. If you're not going for the big completionist, it's definitely worthwhile going for like maybe a point or 2 of con and a point or 2 of whatever your primary stat is. If you're a sorcerer, you could go for the 2 racial past lives that give a point of charisma each, for example. So yeah, totally worth it. I think, but all past lives have their, it's hard to say, like, some people ask, is it better to go for class or racial past lives? Well, there are some class past lives that are really important. Like I mentioned, sorcerer past lives are really important to a caster because they give +1 to evocation DC, and most casters want that. But sorcerer past lives aren't going to be meaningful to like a monk or a fighter or something like that. So with class past lives, you really want to focus on the ones that are going to be meaningful to you. But with like epic past lives and racial past lives, I mean, there's almost something there for every one of them has something almost for everybody. take a look at the wiki article to see all the different bonuses from the racial past lives. Okay, guys, I'm going to shut the live stream down now. I'm going to monitor the chat for about another 5 minutes, so if you have any questions about the raids tonight, I will answer those in the chat. But I'm shutting down the live stream now. Thanks for tuning in, and you guys have a great night.